I'd like to read a quote from President Obama, who recently spoke at the Global Entrepreneurship Summit here at Stanford in June. He said, "Starting your business is not easy. You have to have access to capital. You have to meet the right people. You have to have mentors, and that can be especially difficult for women and young people and minorities and others who haven't always had access to the same networks and opportunities. You deserve the same chance to succeed as everybody else. We've got to make sure that everybody has a fair shot to reach their potential. We can't leave more than half the team on the bench." Reaction or comment on that?
Well, gee, that's a pretty true statement. I mean, it
from your
reminds me
experience.
of Warren Buffett always says, it's silly to ignore women because you give up half of the brain trust, and then he says, well, actually, it's more than half of the brain trust. One of the things I love about Warren Buffett. But no, I do think that I think things are changing. And I think that, rooms like this are helping that happen and evidence that it is happening. I think we're seeing more and more female entrepreneurs. We have more women on the venture side. And so I think we are evening that. It isn't just women, it's women, people of color. It's diversity at every level. I fundamentally believe in diversity. I think it creates stronger, in biology it's true too. Diversity creates stronger systems, right? So I'm a big believer in it. That said, Silicon Valley has been a machine that kicks out certain kinds of companies and certain kinds of entrepreneurs, and they tend to come from, as I call it, from central casting, right? I have my undergrad EE from MIT, and then I worked at Google as an engineer, and then I got my MBA from pick one, Stanford, Harvard, Wharton, there's 5 or so that you go get your MBA, and then you come back and then you go to, you become a product manager at, I don't know, pick your tech company, and then you start your company. And we need to break that mold, and part of that is, and I think it's one of the things that's been very powerful about the Valley is a lot of the entrepreneurship was building the infrastructure, right? It was building the guts on which all of these great, for example, consumer-facing apps get to live, right? Most people who get on a website every day don't know that you exist,
no,
right?
They don't, no.
And nor do you want them to, right? They only know when the wrong code gets pushed, and then they can't get on their gaming site or their shopping or whatever, their news site or whatever it is, right? And so I think one of the amazing things about, so I think that there's a reason why technology entrepreneurship was sort of dominated by a particular class of sort of a certain kind of education and a certain kind of job trajectory. But if you look at today, I think that because of actually things, like what you've built, there are many entrepreneurs who don't have to know how the technology works in order to start really interesting companies that do really interesting things, because they can rely on sort of AWS and Mechanical Turks and whatever it is, they can go rely on various levels of abstraction, right, that take the technology farther and farther away from the application usage. That you have people who have brilliant ideas, and I used to say this even back in the Teamaker days. I say, hey, I don't have to know how to build a car to get use of a car, right? I can drive one, I can sit in one. A car can be really useful to me even if I don't even have a driver's license, right? So I think about entrepreneurship today, and I think more and more we're seeing people look at the technology and say, I can use this technology to solve a problem, but I don't have to be the technologist. And I think that's why we're seeing more and more diversity in the entrepreneurial pool, because nobody's got a lock on great problems to solve, right? That is not the domain of purely engineers. I think we all can think of great problems that we need to solve, and more now people are going out and feeling empowered to tackle those problems. And so I do see the tide shifting. It's going to take a while, and I think we all have to support each other in so doing, but I definitely see a shift.
Well, thank you for being a part of that tonight here at the museum. We're very committed to it. Michelle?
If I can do it, so can you. I mean, for a long time, I really did not want to participate in the women in technology conversation, because I was kind of I didn't want to get put into a box of, oh, you're a woman founder. So I worked really hard And I really wouldn't even like acknowledge it. I wouldn't be part of the conversation. I wouldn't do any interviews about it. This was a big topic back in 2012 too, and I just, or 2011, 2012, and I just really didn't want to be part of the conversation. My personal opinion has changed a little bit more about having a voice and actually having an opinion, because I do think like the next generation of women coming up, I want them to see lots of different paths for careers. And I really do think technology is a great industry if you're at all interested to pursue. You get paid very well, you get to work with very smart people, and you really get to work on problems that impact people around the world. And that's pretty awesome. And so I want the next generation of like boys and girls to be like, this is great, I want to be part of this because it's growing, this industry is not going away, and we just need lots of smart, ambitious people to be part of it. And again, diversity is critically important to making it work, but it's not just technology. Finance needs more diversity. There's lots of different industries that also need it. And so if you're a woman, you should absolutely stay in the workforce and pick the path you want to do. And if you're a man, you should actually make sure that you're like, is your team diverse? Are you encouraging women around you to take chances? Because part of the reason why I get to be where I am is because I have a business partner who thinks of me as Michelle and thinks that and it couldn't be happier about who he picked as a business partner. And the fact that he believes in me so much means that I can get up and do a good job at work. And I think really, really lucky about that. And same with my investors. Like, we've raised a lot of venture capitalists, and our investors think that I'm a huge asset to the company. And now, because we've done so well, they're like, wait, I need to find more Michelles in some of my other companies. And again, I'm just one data point, and so where I think I need to do is win. So it's just another proof point of like, this, you can also do this. But again, it's lots of different sorts of things. But I absolutely think that diversity is the key to being strong founding teams, strong teams. You get much different, better outcome as long as you share a lot of trust and a shared vision. And then diversity is very powerful.